All right, not going to do all these, just do a few of them. So, for example, number 1, if you have sine of 54, you're going to just put that in the calculator. You're going to just type sine of 54. And just round to 3 places. So 0.809. Okay? If you don't know the angle, like number 4, then you're going to do the inverse. You're going to hit second sine. And just type in 5 divided by 7. You're good to go. And then round, and that's really close because it's, pretty close to a 45-degree angle, but it's 45.5, so you technically round to 46 degrees. A little bit over 45.5. All right? Okay, 2 and 3 work just like 4, except you're putting in a decimal instead of a fraction. No big deal. Okay? Now, when we get to problems like 7 and 8, remember, if x is on the top, whoops, we're trying to get rid of that 11 by multiplication. So we just type in 11 times cosine of 54. So 6.47. But on 8, if x is on the bottom, we can just switch these two. So 3 divided by tangent of 18. .23. And that's it. All right, so new stuff. There are 3 trig ratios using right triangles. We're going to label the triangles with the words opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Then we're going to write the correct trig ratio and solve. So, on this one, we're just labeling it. So, it says using angle A. Well, the easiest one is always the hypotenuse. There's no thought there. It's always opposite the right angle. What we got to think about now is the words opposite and adjacent. So, imagine you're up here looking from point A. And you got to figure out which of these sides is opposite of you and which of these sides is adjacent. Well, adjacent means right next to you. So, which one is right next to you at A? AC or CB? Listen, AC or CB. If you're at A, AC is adjacent. It's right there next to you. And opposite is way over there. And that's how we label. Okay? Now, if I was looking from B, AC would be opposite, and BC would be adjacent. It all depends on where you're looking from, your perspective. Okay, so, trig ratios. Sine of A. So from A, and these are all from A, sine, cosine, tangent. The sine of A is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So they both have that in common. And then tangent is opposite over adjacent. No hypotenuse there. So how do we remember these? The first letters. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. Also known as SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. So, like if you stub your toe and you hit it, you need to soak your toe in some ice water. All right. Yeah, that was bad. So from B, same thing. It is going to be sine is opposite. Oh, let's go back actually, sorry. Let's actually label these a little bit better. So sine, A. From A, opposite would be BC over hypotenuse, which is AB. Cosine from A. The adjacent side is AC. And the hypotenuse doesn't change. And for tangent, opposite of A is BC. We already said that. And we said adjacent is AC. So let's do the same thing for B. If you're down here looking at B, and you're looking this way, this side over here is opposite. This side is adjacent, and that's your hypotenuse. So the sine of B would be opposite over hypotenuse. So that would be AC over AB. Cosine, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, would be BC, adjacent over AB, the hypotenuse. And tangent, which is opposite over adjacent, TOA, would be AC over BC. So, let's do an actual problem now. If we look at this, here's our hypotenuse. Do we have any information about the hypotenuse? No. From A, which is where our angle is, this is our opposite side, and this is our adjacent side. It's right next to us. So which trig ratio, does opposite and adjacent? That's tangent. So we're going to use tangent, which again is opposite over adjacent. Now, what is our angle? The tangent of 54 degrees equals opposite, that's our unknown, over our adjacent side, which is 10. And now we solve like we learned previously. X is on the top, so we multiply by 10. So we take our calculator now and type in 10 times the tangent of 54. And that's 13.76. Does my answer make sense? Well, X is, that side is longer than 10, so 13.76, yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Here's our angle. We have the opposite and we have the hypotenuse. Which one is opposite and hypotenuse? That's sine, so SOH. So, what is my angle? Sine of 56 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. How do I get x by itself? Multiply both sides by 12. So I take my calculator, 12 times sine of 56. 9.95. Does my answer make sense? Well, my hypotenuse is 12. That's the longest side of any triangle, right triangle. So therefore, my answer has to be less than 12. It makes sense. All right, hypotenuse. Here's my angle. This is the adjacent. That's cosine. Adjacent hypotenuse. So, cosine of what degree? 28 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse. When x is on the bottom, I switch. So I'm going to do 18 divided by the cosine of 28. 18 divided by cosine 28. 20.39. Does that make sense? Well, 18 is one leg. Hypotenuse has got to be bigger. 20.39 makes sense. Okay, let's do this again. Here's my angle. This is my opposite side all the way over there. That's my hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse is sine. So I set it up. What's my angle? 25 degrees. What's my ratio? Opposite 20 over x. When x is on the bottom, I switch them. So 20 divided by sine 25. 47.32. Again, does it make sense? It's bigger than, it's the hypotenuse, it's got to be bigger than 20. It is. Angle. Opposite. Adjacent. Right there, next to the angle. Notice, no hypotenuse. No h. No sine, no cosine. That's TOA, tangent. So, tangent of 37 degrees equals, what's my ratio? Opposite over adjacent. Multiply both sides by 8. Take my calculator. 8 times tangent of, what was it, 37, sorry. 37. 6.03. Sorry, the board's being goofy. 6.03. Does that make sense? Yeah. Total sense. Okay, couple more. Here's my angle. I have my hypotenuse, h, and then this is my adjacent side, cosine. Cosine of my angle equals, what's my ratio, which means a fraction, adjacent over hypotenuse. X is on the bottom, I'm sorry, my bad, x is on the top, so I multiply by 12. Calculator. 12 times cosine 40, 9.19. Is that less than my hypotenuse? It sure is. Good to go. 13 degrees. What do I have? Opposite hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse. Which one is that? So, sine of 13 degrees equals, what's my ratio? Opposite over hypotenuse. When x is on the bottom, I just switch them. So 10 divided by sine of 13. 10 divided by sine 13. 44.45. Is that bigger than 10? It is. I'm good to go. And that's it.